Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Hi again, everyone. Scott Plyer, Pop Cool fan here, and in this video, something I want to do now that it's finally October. I'm definitely going to do more horror movie reviews this month, and then also kicking off this Halloween season, I wanted to talk about a certain TV show that I have very strong feelings for. It's a TV show that I really love because it's a show that I kind of grew up with. It's called Supernatural. Hey! So, for those of you that don't know, Supernatural is about two brothers, Sam and Dean Winchester, and in the first couple of seasons, they're basically traveling cross-country, fighting the good fight, taking care of monsters, saving people, hunting things, the family business, and it's just, I really liked that aspect of those first few seasons of the show, because, like Monster of the Week, it was something that I've always enjoyed, because, you just get that brotherly relationship between the two of them, and just seeing them saving people and taking care of monsters, killing them basically, and just seeing them just traveling together, it's something that I've always really enjoyed watching. And for a bit of a history lesson in my life, I never had a brother, and the closest I've ever had to a brother is my best friend Sean. For those of you that have followed me for a while, I've done videos with Sean here on my channel and over on his channel, and he's the closest I have to a brother, really. He's my best friend. So, I know it's different. We're not actually brothers, but I always got that sense of, seeing two brothers on screen, whether it's Supernatural or Sueva, Zach, and Cody. That's another really good example. Just seeing that kind of brotherly relationship. Even though I don't have a brother, it's just something I've always enjoyed, because I've always felt a little bit jealous about having that kind of relationship. I have an older sister, but yeah, and then also, like growing up, whenever I stayed in a hotel, like on vacation, Supernatural would sometimes be on in the mornings, like on the TNT channel, and I would sometimes watch it with my dad in the mornings, and I've always liked that, Supernatural is part of my childhood, or maybe not childhood, but like teenagehood. And then, as the show continued airing, I started watching it more and more, and I've watched the show multiple times. And there are so many memorable characters, from Castiel. Castiel was introduced in season 5, and Crowley, oh my god, Crowley, he's a scene stealer. I love Crowley, even though he's a bad guy. He was like the king of the crossroads, a crossroads demon, but he was like the king of hell in later seasons, and I've always enjoyed Crowley. He's one of my favorite characters. You have Bobby, and then they introduced the character of Charlie in later seasons. I really liked her. She was basically like a nerd, kind of like all of us. Liking Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, all that stuff, and I really liked her character. There's just so many characters on this show that you can really grow attached to. And then Rowena, Crowley's mom, the witch, and in the later seasons, I think what they did in some of the later seasons, some of it didn't always work, like the Leviathans in, I think it was like season 9, maybe? Season 8, season 9, when they were going after Leviathans. Some of that didn't quite work for me in the later seasons, when they were, getting a lot more religious with its villains. But then also, I think something that the show is building up to in the final season, I don't want to spoil, but it was something that was definitely worth watching. And the series finale, when that finally aired, in the 15th season. 15th season, yeah. It ran so long. And, oh, the series finale, it really did touch on the feels. It touched on the feels. And I've just, I grow so much attached to the show. I love the music, the soundtrack. The use of classic rock in the earlier seasons, I've always loved. And also, Carry On Wayward Son. They basically made that the theme song. Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas. They use that as like the outro song at the end of every season. And I love that song. I've listened to it so many times, and I always think of Supernatural whenever I hear that song. And just Sam and Dean Winchester played. I love Jensen Ackles. He's a great actor. I've always liked his humor as Dean Winchester. He just really embodied the character from beginning to end. I've always loved Dean Winchester. There are so many memorable moments with him. And I really think that because of his role on this and also on The Boys and amongst other things, I really think he's one of the better actors in regards to TV, at least in my opinion. And I love Jensen Ackles. He's so great as an actor. And also you have Jared Padalecki as Sam. I've always liked Sam too as well. He was more of the neutral guy, I guess you could say. Kind of like a guy that you would relate to, just wanting to live a normal life. At least that's how he was in the earlier seasons. And I've always liked that about Sam. And, so it's something that, I've always enjoyed. I've always enjoyed Supernatural. And because there's 15 seasons, there are several seasons where, even though sometimes they do Monster of the Week episodes, it can sometimes feel like filler because almost every season has at least 20 episodes or more. So that was like the norm back in the day of TV shows having at least 20 or more episodes. That was the norm back then. At least, and that was the era of TV I grew up with. So, yeah, there are several seasons of Supernatural that have a lot of filler episodes, and sometimes the plot would, not always flow in every single episode of a season of Supernatural, which is one of my main issues with the show. But, I've always still enjoyed even the filler episodes, and there are several seasons where sometimes the main plot isn't always as interesting. So with some of the villains that they have done throughout the show, I just didn't always, connect with some of the villains that they had to face off against. Especially, I think the whole thing with Lilith, her character, I didn't really think that they pulled that off very well, especially in season 3. And then, which is funny, Lauren Cohan, she had her start on Supernatural, I think, and then she was also on The Walking Dead. So that was really cool. And then also, another actor that had his start on Supernatural was Finn Wolfhard. Finn Wolfhard, who is well known as Michael on Stranger Things. He had a cameo in an episode of Supernatural. So that's really cool too. So a lot of really cool actors that have been on this show that have had their start on Supernatural, and I've loved that about this show. And just there's so much I could say about this show. I love it. And this show has a prequel coming out in a couple weeks, The Winchesters. I wasn't too sure what to think about when I saw the trailer for the prequel show, because they recast John and Mary Winchester. I feel like they could have kept the same actors from the time travel episodes of the main show. They could have kept those same actors, but they didn't. They just got new actors. Maybe because the actors that played John and Mary in a lot of the time travel episodes of the main show, maybe it's just because they got a little bit too old to play younger versions of the characters. That's probably why. But yeah, the Winchesters, the prequel show, airs in a couple weeks, and we'll see. Like, I wasn't sure about the tone and the look and the feel of the show when I saw the first trailer, so I mean, I might do an episode or review for the first episode of that show. We'll see. But yes, Supernatural is a show that I love. One of my favorites, next to The Walking Dead and also Bates Motel. So yeah, I wanted to kick off this month with my overall retrospective / review of Supernatural as a whole. It's a show that I love. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, that should do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace. And I claim to be a wise man. I can hear the voices say, carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done.